Who were the major religious leaders in the neoconservative movement?
Well, Billy Graham, Jerry Falwell, um, the Catholic bishops, Cardinal Cook in Chicago, Spellman, and others in Boston, and O'Connor in New York. They were all very involved, particularly in the whole right to life movement and opposition to women's rights and opposition to any kind. Although there was not much of a gay movement, but it was beginning. And you had Jimmy Baker, Jim Swaggart, Robert Schuer, The Hour of Power. Those were some of the major religious leaders of the time. The head of the Southern Baptist Convention, who now I think is Richard Lamb. I don't know if it was Richard Lamb then or not. That was a very influential religious leader.
Did you see these guys begin shilling for economic issues, or was it more they stayed in their realm of social conservatism?
Yeah, they didn't get very much involved in economics. In fact, the irony, of course, is that at the very same time that they were pushing social issues and that they were pushing on their social agenda, the Republicans were passing legislation and programs which were to the absolute detriment of their own followers. Since the makeup of the evangelical right was blue-collar, lower-wage workers, the economic policies of the Republican Party, of the neocons, which was an economic policy devoted completely to the benefit of the 1%, was to their detriment. You know, when they cut taxes, when government spending went down, when infrastructure spending went down, when public schools started not getting the help that they were getting, when you saw research money cut back, and so forth, agriculture subsidies under attack, all of that was to the detriment of the evangelical pew occupier in the pew, but they still continued to push and stay with the neocons because of all the social issues.
Do you think that they got on board with neoconservatism because they saw their church numbers, their attendance numbers dwindling in the 60s and 70s? Do you think they saw that as an advantage, or?
No, I don't think it was a matter of church numbers. In fact, I think their church numbers were fairly good through there. I think it was almost a straw that broke the camel's back. They looked around, and what did they see? Well, they saw the civil rights movement integrating the schools. What did they do? They created Christian schools so that their kids didn't have to go into the public school system. They looked around and they saw the Equal Rights Amendment. They saw the rise of the women's movement. They saw Roe v. Wade. And Roe v. Wade may have been the straw that pushed them into the political. Remember, after the Scopes trial, after the whole thing in the 20s, the evangelical movement went back underground and was not politically active, very much at all. Then all of a sudden, as the 60s and then the early 70s was kind of like, okay, we can't do this. And you had the rise of Billy Graham, you had the rise of Falwell, you had the rise of these guys. The televangelist phenomenon came up, and it was kind of like the perfect storm. And so they rose up, not because of, literally because of Alaska membership. Actually, they would say their membership was growing. They rose up and became politically active because it was kind of like they couldn't take it, and they were mad as hell and they couldn't take it anymore.